Today I'm going to talk about the benefits of this bush. Here it is, the vervain bush, the vervain bush, the love bush, or some countries they call it vervain latte. I'm going to tell you my experience with it and the benefits of it. I can prove to you that it worked because it have worked for me, and I can tell you all what it is good for. The vervain bush is good for urinary tract infection. It's good for period cramps, or if you're having clots when you're having your periods, or it's also good for insomnia. Now, the vervain bush is good to be used with the tea. I have had the experiences with the tea. You boil it and you make a tea out of it, and then you use it for those different things that I just mentioned. I remember the first time I was introduced to this bush, it was by a nurse. She worked in one of the hospitals in the emergency room. I brought my infant baby to the emergency room, and she had a bad flu, really bad flu. And the nurse said to me, I don't understand why your parents always bring your children to the emergency rooms when they just have the flu or cold. And she took one of the doctor's prescription pad, and she wrote on that. She wrote on it and thought she was going to send me for pills in the drugstore or whatever. She wrote vervain on it. And I said, vervain, what is that? She said, go and ask around the village and somebody will give it to you, which I did. So I went and I was introduced to it. I boiled it and I gave it as prescribed, because she wrote everything on there, as prescribed to give to the child. And I gave her about a half, I think it was about a half a bottle of that tea. And you know those little smaller bottles for the babies, I think it's about maybe 6 ounces it was, but I gave her half of that, so that was like 3 ounces, and I gave it to her. In the morning when I woke up, that child passed the cold in her stool, she passed it through her nose, and she even urinated a whole lot that time, but I never knew why she did that. But that, as I said, that thing is good for urinary tract infection. It's good for all those other things that I mentioned, so that's why it helped. And also when I had my periods and I was having clots, I used to just drink that tea and it would help with my periods. It used to make it's, you know, the blood flow rich and red, and the clots would dissolve. So I'm just sharing all these experiences with you so I could tell you exactly what the vervain bush is good for. A lot of us have bush in our yard and we do not know what to do with it. And for some reason, I am blessed to have many of those bush in my yard. I can name a few. I have the moringa bush in my yard. I have the soursop bush in my yard. I have lemongrass bush in my yard. And I also have the big thyme. They call it father thyme. Some people call it the father thyme. In other countries they call it by different names, but I have all of those bush in my yard and many more. But I will explain to you and tell you what is the use of all of those different bush. Stay tuned. On my next videos I will tell you about the moringa bush and the benefits of the moringa bush. So today we are concentrating on the vervain bush. If you have the vervain bush in your yard, as women that are having period cramps, you should go and take that bush, boil it and drink it. If you have the flu, it is also going to help you with the flu. Anytime I have the flu, I use that bush because it is very good for the flu. I have used it, I've told it to many people, and it works. So these are my experience with the vervain bush or the vervain lachewat, or the love bush, or the vervain, however you want to call it. Thanks for watching my video, and as I said, I have a lot more bush in the yard, and I can tell you the benefits of that bush. The vervain bush is the #1 for menstrual cramps, clots, and also the flu. Don't forget to use it and make a tea out of it. It is very good. Don't be afraid to try it. I am still alive and it worked for me. Okay.